All right, so I don't know what to call this show. We are moving this stuff on the building from Autorestomod over to its own separate little thing. This probably won't consume a ton of our daylight, so to speak, as far as shows are concerned. We're going to do a short series on the building, and then we'll abandon this thing to the ditch after we're done with it. And of course, you'll be watching them, so you'll see this one letting you know that these will be airing on Tuesday from this point on. And what we did last week is we talked about the lighting packages that we've put in, how excited I am to actually have lights inside this building. One of the things I found most intriguing about it is that I can work until after 6 in the wintertime now. Before, I had to stop at about 4:30, 5 o'clock doing what I was doing in here to get the walls ready to be put up because I couldn't see anymore. But the big thing that came out recently is a real big problem with flooding. Boy, do we have a problem with flooding. There is a lot of water intrusion into this building, not from any other places than these big 10-foot wide by 10-foot tall gaping maws we call garage doors. There are no garage doors, which would probably help us keep from getting so much water in here, and they're a good ways off. We're probably looking at another 3 to 4 weeks before we can get doors on this thing. Welcome to the current state of, the way things happen in this country right now in 2022. I got the date right. So what I want to talk about today is we have a flooding problem. I want to talk about what we're going to be doing with that, but I mostly want to discuss why we're having a flooding problem in the first part of this. The biggest thing is we have a butt ton of concrete here. We have probably, I think it's a 70 by 40 pad that we poured. Part of it is inside of Studio A. Then we have a run-up pad that's wide enough for us to put the lift on and do work and camera stuff around it. And then we have a side pad where we've got the 70 Camaro parked. That's exactly what that spot's for. It's for us to bring a car out of this building, park it over here temporarily while we're not working on it to get it out of the way. We wanted a spot just for that. We can't cover it because the county says that we have exhausted our building allotment for this property. So it's for now just going to remain an open parking area for cars. But with all that amount of concrete being poured, it has caused a problem of water coming into the building. Now our pad out here is fairly flat with the exception of 2 spots. One of them right here by the door on this side, and guess where the other one is? Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's in the middle of the door on the other side of the building, and it is letting in a lot of water. And I don't really know that there's a whole lot I could have done about it. I'm sure somebody's going to write in and tell me, yes, you could have done this, 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 and this. But when we were doing all this stuff, my engineering brain was not on break because I was right in the middle of having the COVID last year, and it really kind of didn't make me think very clearly. I could have probably gone in and had him pour some mild dips in the concrete that would have jetted the water off to one side or the other. Out here on this pad, I would have poured it so that there was a V in it that poured the water off to the side over here. On the other pad over there, I would have had it pour the water off to the right side. And I would have V'd it there. It would have been a little bit for the lift to have to go through, which is the main reason we have this right now the way it is. So that we can take our lift out that door over there or this door here to work out here doing spray cleaning and undercarriage work where we don't want to get weld slag and stuff on the floors inside the building. We want to keep our floors in here fairly nice. But we didn't do that, and that's really my fault. And the other problem with that thought process is when we put the concrete down, the building wasn't up. We didn't know where the opening was going to be on this side specifically, because it's a set building and they aren't assembling it. They're assembling it here, but they're not actually building it here. So I can't specify exactly where I want that door to be. They told me it would roughly be 1.5 feet, 2 feet off this side, and it's like a foot. So it would have been bad for me to have gone in and tried to set that up prior to the building being put up. The other one was going to be on the center, would have been easier, but my brain was not on center, so it caused a problem. Now, what am I going to do to fix this problem? Well, I am going to have to put up dams. And basically there are these things that you can get. I'm getting mine from Amazon. I'm showing you a picture of it right here. These are actually so that you can keep the water from getting inside the building. I'm going to temporarily put them down before the doors show up. After the doors come in, I'm going to possibly move them to a different spot to dam the water up so that we don't get real water intrusion in here like we've been getting. That is really the simplest solution to that problem. We were having some water problems on down the wall here before we put down the sealer on the ground, and we used a concrete to metal sealer so that it would be nice and tight, wouldn't come up with a lot of weather use. And we're not having any problems along the walls. We're just having the problems in the door openings. And boy, there's a lot of water that comes in here. You'd be amazed. We've had some true gully washers in the last couple of weeks, and it's a lot of water coming in. The one thing I didn't count on with flooding, and this is something to really think about, is our land back behind us. This property slopes, and I wanted this building on the same level as Studio A. That being the case, you had to dig out and drop the building down about 1.5 feet, 2 feet, maybe even 3 or 4. I can't remember what they told me. Again, I had COVID and I wasn't thinking real clearly. But we dropped it down enough for this building to sit level with Studio A. That caused us to have a hill there, and with that hill still being sandy, because again, we don't want to put grass down because right now it's the middle of January or the beginning of January, and I'm not going to put grass down at this time of year. So I have a problem with the water runoff from the top of the hill cascading down and filling up the retention pool that I make. It's not really a pond on the back side of the building, but what that's doing is driving the sand down to the drive-ups and causing a real problem. That problem being that there is now a level spot there, and all the water from that hill in the last couple of weeks has been coming in the door, literally. You can watch where the dirt was coming in. It looks like muck on the floor. So I went in and I put some yard, I don't know, again, I'm not a yard guy. The little metal things that you can put down on your sidewalks to, differentiate between where the grass is supposed to be and where anyway, I'm showing you what it looks like. We put that down. It seems to have made a difference because after I did that, we had another gully washer and the water inside the building was fairly clean, telling me that all the water that was coming in was actually coming off the roof and out of the sky. Mostly, really, honestly, out of the sky. I mean, it was raining bad. So, all that to say this, what this really boils down to for me is about adapting and overcoming. You're going to run into problems when you're doing stuff like this. You're going to have issues where, you set something up and you think you've done it the best you can. Even your guys doing this that are, doing it for you are going to run into things that they're going to have to overcome. Same thing happened to me, and I'm overcoming it by putting down the dams at the doors to keep things from getting water inside here, because it's not a deep puddle. It's just about that deep, but that deep spread out over 36 by 30 is a lot because it's just running that water right in here into the shop. Are there other things I could probably do? I don't know, and that's where you guys can come in. You can tell me, hey, look, why don't you try to do this? You can send me an email. I'll put my email address below me right here. It's probably going to be too much for you to put into the comment section. If you want to try throwing it in there and explaining it there, that'd be great. If you've got a solution for something like this where it's an already existing structure with an existing pad that I could do, that I'm going to be able to get a lift over the top of whatever we do. In other words, we can't do a trench that's 3 foot deep to get the water out, because then the lift will be in the trench. That won't be good. Just trust me. And that's really all I want to talk about on this little episode, is to go in and kind of delineate what's going on. I'm going to show you the good and the bad when we're doing this, the things that we hit and the ways we overcome it, just so that you can understand that if you run into problems, it doesn't always go shiny happy. Every time you do something, you may have a problem that you encounter that you're going to have to fix. That's the difference between somebody who is just dead set on getting it done right or getting it done, and somebody who says, well, I give up. This is a problem and I don't want to deal with it. So folks, do me a favor and come back and watch us next time. Be kind to each other, be good to each other, love on each other. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you down the road on whatever we call this show once we name it, because we haven't even named it yet. It's, I don't know, Happy Building? Sounds like a Chinese restaurant. Gray Building? Bob the Build? No, we can't use that one. It's already taken. I'm not named Bob anyway, so it wouldn't work. Maybe I'll just stop and let Andrew come up with a name. And if people don't like it, they can blame him. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just let him blame Andrew. Bye.